After 3 straight defeats and a lowly 5th place in the Six Nations table, there must of course be an England inquest into the past 7 weeks from Eddie Jones, but I want to start by first highlighting how good Ireland have been. Not least because if you study their successful template there are considerable clues as to where England went wrong. Ireland were excellent, the best team in the tournament by a distance. They are the best coached side in Europe, with Joe Schmidt and Andy Farrell missing nothing, and they have the best strength and depth, making light of big injury absences. They are the most consistent in terms of selection, the calmest under pressure and probably the fittest side too. The Irish certainly looked the freshest and most rested, with strong central control by the IRFU working brilliantly for the national team. Congratulations to all concerned. Saturday was historic and impressive, and all on St. Patrick's Day. Life does not get much better, and they are now poised to mount a massive challenge to New Zealand and all comers at next year's World Cup. England and Eddie Jones in contrast have got to do a lot of soul-searching, and honest words need to be spoken. But above all it needs to be done in a calm atmosphere away from the limelight. I've written about this before, but Eddie, partially because he is a big personality who the media will naturally latch on to, has become too much the show, and there have been way too many distractions this season. You cannot operate long-term like that, it saps your energy and the team lose focus. So it is time for Eddie and his coaching staff to go to ground. It is a time for a period of silence. In fact, although they are all workaholics, with Eddie setting the tone in that respect with his 4 a.m. texting sessions to players when he cannot sleep, everybody needs to hit the beach and neck a few cold beers. England's think tank needs to decompress, because sometimes in the full-on madness of a Six Nations you cannot see the wood for the trees. You lose the ability to think straight and view what has been happening objectively. England have not just lost 3 games on the trot, it is the manner of defeat. They were incredibly poor against Scotland and France, and although there was undoubtedly an improvement in their physicality and intensity on Saturday, I cannot say there was ever a time in the game I thought they looked likely to really trouble Ireland. England were also poor for the last hour against Wales, and back in the autumn only against Australia in the latter stages of the game did they hit their straps. Why? What's going wrong, and how can England play better? I have read that England need an attack coach. Another coach? They already have the biggest backroom staff in the world. The camp is packed full of rugby new and players who make their successful club team stick. No, what is needed most of all is for England to clarify how they want to play. Eddie needs to sit down and debrief everybody, player by player, and get their view. He has to find out where they are mentally and why the majority of them are not producing the form they show for their clubs or did for England during that great run, particularly in 2016 when they won the Grand Slam and then took that series against Australia 3-0. Get everybody back on the same page. It will be absolutely vital down in South Africa in June, because, under a new coach and with fresh hope, the Bucks will be looking to get back on track and will be sending blood against this England group. New Zealand loom in November, Wales and Ireland away in the next Six Nations. The road ahead is very challenging. I have seen comments that England have become too robotic and predictable, but I am not sure that is the crux of the problem either. Ireland also play to a pretty solid structure, it is just that they are doing it brilliantly at pace and precision. Execution, energy and composure is what is missing for England. The difficult part of this questioning process is deciding who will question Eddie, because in recent months he has started to make selection and tactical errors. To highlight just one, how did England get into a position on Saturday when they were giving the scrum half his first Six Nations start in 10 years? George Ford has not been playing well, but it seems to me he is still the key for England if they are going to up their game. England looked better when Ford came back on. So the question that needs to be asked is, why has George not been effective? Are the pack not producing the quality ball he needs? If so, why not? Is the half-back pairing part of the issue? What is the story? Who is the person at Twickenham who will start offering some constructive criticism? There has never been a coach in top-level rugby who has not had either a trusted confidant or a line manager pulling him aside and asking a few difficult questions. You need a sounding board. Who is Eddie's sounding board? He is such a big, dominant figure. England still have some great players at their disposal. It is not remotely panic time. This blip has been coming and was widely predicted, so should not come as a shock, and there is an argument that it is best for England to get their wake-up call 18 months out from the World Cup, not 6. Now is the time for cool heads and clear thinking, searching questions and honest answers.